whistle after that one. Sometimes I'm really funny.
Yeah.
But only on Thursdays, and unfortunately for you, dear listeners, today is not Thursday. What day is it? I don't know.
Yeah.
But not Thursday.
Doesn't matter.
I
We're
don't
all
think so.
trapped in our little time loops.
Time is actually a triangle, and you won't change my mind.
Okay. Show your work.
No, I don't need to if I have the right answer.
See, now you're talking like corporate America.
Anyway.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the inaugural second pilot episode of It's Probably Fine podcast.
Oh, shit. Is it already number 2?
Yeah, but it is our second pilot. We're leaving that.
We like to leave that open. All right.
Yeah.
Just remember, dear listeners, you heard it here first. This is still a pilot episode. So if we mess up, it's just a pilot.
It's just a pilot. And you know what? It's fine.
It's probably fine.
All right. So today it sounds like we're going to be going into some shady goings on within the housing market. Is that correct?
Yeah, Dalton. So I don't know how much I tend to live under a rock myself these days. So whenever anything newsworthy comes across my feed, and it's just like, oh, that's great. But
yeah,
it's kind of
that's sort of the premise for the show.
Well,
just kept seeing stuff that was like,
well, that's fair. But we do have something. I'm hoping to put a positive spin on here that could be a good thing. It's probably fine, right? But what I wanted to talk about was namely this new bill on the House floor here, House of Representatives, called the End Hedge Fund Control of American Homes Act. And
hell of a title.
Yeah, hell of a title. And even just the headline kind of stopped me there for a minute, and reading into it is just,
they were doing that?
How? Yeah, exactly. Literally. Hold up, what? These giant corporate entities are owning single-family homes. Why? I mean, the answer is because they can make a bunch of money off of it,
yeah,
obviously. But,
That's sweet money.
I would love some of that sweet money, but...
And it's even better because you made people's lives worse in the gaining of that money. It just makes it all the sweeter.
Are we already at there's no ethical way to be a billionaire? Have we already hit that? Okay.
I mean, maybe.
Anyway, so really what this act is proposing, and I hope it passes. I'm not sure exactly how much traction it's going to have due to, lobbying and all that fun stuff. But ultimately what it does is it, over a 10-year period, forces all of those legal entities, hedge funds and all the rest of them that own single-family homes to sell them off over that 10-year period, or they have to, face these really steep tax penalties.
Okay. I mean, I like it. It might be the burn it down impulse in me, but I would like it punched up a little bit. Like, it has to be tomorrow and the penalty is death.
Okay.
Just punch it up. Punch up your script.
We're you and I are aligned on a lot of things, right? So I'm firmly there on the French had the right idea.
Yeah.
And that's really all I'm going to say about that. They invented one of the greatest tools for the pursuit of equality ever, which is the guillotine, folks.
Did you know, I just heard this, I think I was just watching like a show or like a game show or something. Do you know the last time someone was guillotined in France?
I don't. Was it recent?
It's 1977, I'm pretty sure.
1977?
Yeah. Like, I just want to know, like, was it televised? And like, was it that they ran out of lethal injections? Or
I mean, have you seen what goes into lethal injections? Like, I'd rather take a guillotine, cut my head off, and be done with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of like tension and buildup that I don't think I'd appreciate.
And then you're left there squirming around for, 30 seconds or however long it takes. Just cut my head off, be done with it.
Yeah.
But that just it was really surprising to learn that, and obviously, it's in theory I knew that all these corporate entities were holding houses and things like that, right? And I think some states too are particularly affected, as it's not equally spread over all of the US kind of a thing. But I was reading that in some areas of Texas, like as much as 40% of the single family homes are owned by these hedge funds, by these corporate entities. And it really gave me pause, because it's like, we already have property for businesses, right?
Yeah.
Last time I checked, that was commercially zoned.
Yeah, I mean,
stuff.
I think it's a fair assumption. It's the assumption I would have made too, that, they do that, but with like apartment buildings or commercial real estate that's being used residentially, which is essentially kind of what an apartment building is. But like, yeah, the idea that they're involved in single family homes, I mean, maybe we should have expected it. It's shocking to see on the page.
It really is. And I'm glad you brought apartments up too, because I would like to see this expand into apartments as well.
Yeah.
Turns out people need a place to live.
Yeah, some put it, I think everyone actually puts it on that like list, the 3 things you need. I think it's 3.
Shelter, water, food.
Yeah.
Right?
I think it's fair to say that it should, at least, in my opinion, be like a national embarrassment how difficult and how costly it is for just your average American to afford housing. Because it's like breaking the bank for nearly every level of income until you reach a certain point, and then you coast. But
I mean, I can tell you it's hard out here for a bitch. Like,
yeah,
I'm struggling. I'm paycheck to paycheck.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just, what is that? Who helped me out here? Who had that quote that was along the lines of, you can judge a society by how they treat the least fortunate among them.
Ooh.
Or least well off among them. I'm paraphrasing.
I've heard the quote. I don't know,
but that is, that particular phrase is always pops into my head whenever I think about these kind of issues, because why can't we help our neighbors out? Why can't we do something to get people homes when they need it? Why is having a home not a human right? Because everybody needs a space to live.
Yeah, and if even in the event that like it's still something that's bought and sold, like it should not be an area where the corruption is as rampant as it is, certainly. Like the emphasis should still be on like having the good, so like housing, be as accessible as possible to like people, which is where like, that's probably exactly the problem with this hedge fund thing, is it's that idea of like, when you are doing something for the benefit of shareholders as opposed to like consumers, your idea of what success is becomes unattainable and corrupt, because you're not just trying to be profitable. It has nothing to do with the cost of the item or the house or whatever. It has everything to do with how much your shareholders are going to make off of like what you're not competing anymore with just trying to make a profit. You're competing with yourself from last year and every year previous. So it's not enough to be profitable. You have to be the most profitable you've ever been. I guess that's the best way to put that.
That continued exponential profitability, where making, even a healthy profit isn't okay. You have to make all of the profit. I think you hit the nail on the head there. And that, I feel like that mentality is especially harmful when dealing with things that people need that, in my opinion, should be a human right. Like, why can't we handle housing like we handle other utilities, right? Like your water bill.
Well, it certainly should be taken. I mean, granted, this isn't handled overly well, but it should certainly be in the same bracket as like healthcare, at the very least. But and with things like food, apart from like the recent hikes and stuff, like food needs to be attainable by people. So,
not according to the U.S. Per our UN representative.
Oh yeah, what did he say? I remember something.
I'll pull it up here real quick, but I know the U.S. decided that food was not a human right.
I think people are missing, because I get the philosophy where this comes from, right? There's this. It was more prominent like a few decades ago, but there was some sort of quote, like, actually, yeah, it was the heyday of the Soviet Union. So the thing that works with capitalism is it's great at distributing stuff. Mm-hmm. It's really, really good at that, because one of the problems with the Soviet Union is if people aren't able to go out and get what they need and like pay for it with their money, it's very hard for a government to like handle all of that distributing. Mm-hmm. Like, you need the people to come and get what it is that they want. And like having the ability for the consumer to provide demand really helps out. It makes it all so much easier. Things just happen to work on their own. But that seems to have caused a problem. And we're going into like economic theory that I have no business commentating on. But these are my observations are when you add in that third component of you are no longer focusing on selling to a consumer as much as you are impressing like a shareholder, essentially. That little extra level of abstraction kind of gets used. Well, the thing is, that's what they're doing, but they're using the same mentality that was correct in that version of capitalism that I described before, where like it's the same people who say, it's the best system we have are the people who are basically undermining it with how they're operating.
That makes sense. Yep.
I think, hot take, in order for capitalism to work, the stock market can't be a thing.
I don't know if I'm qualified to comment on.
We are well outside of our qualifications.
The stock market
is borderline slander.
Hashtag.
We're going to have to run this by legal. Just kidding. We don't have a legal department.
No, we do have actually a very well informed legal department. She's just a corgi.
Yeah. Little tuna.
I betcha we could send her to like doggy law school.
That sounds adorable. And
all right.
I approve of it.
Tune in for pilot episode, let's call it 6. Doggy law school.
We need a snappy name for that.
Okay.
I don't have one.
But kind of leapfrogging off of your capitalism point there, Dalton, as somebody who's taken exactly one course in capitalism, I feel overly qualified to comment about it. But essentially, we don't have a true capitalist society in this country, right? And I think some of the problems stem from the fact that it's not a true capitalism. Like, look at, the Great Recession in 2008 when we had to bail out all of these corporate banks, right?
Actually, yeah, and this brings up kind of. Sorry, don't mean to jump in here.
No, go ahead.
I think part of the problem is we do everything in our power to we claim to be capitalists, and companies will be all for it, but they want the safest version of capitalism for themselves.
Exactly.
And it should be inherently unsafe for a company.
Boom.
Like that's how that's the only way capitalism functions.
In a capitalist system, things fail. Not everybody makes the greatest product. Not everybody, and that's just how it works. If you're not selling a product that's desirable or useful or whatever, the market is, if there's no market for it, you're going to fail. Or if you don't do good business because of whatever reason you want to call it, right? Or I'm not getting into cancel culture, but let's just say you get canceled, then that's also a piece to that capitalist thing is you failed as your business fails. There you go. But I think our problem is that our leadership bodies, right, won't let these institutions fail. With me so far?
Yeah.
Now, here's where I'm going to jump off the deep end a little bit into...
Oh, go for it.
Into the places where I'm
I need you to balance it out because I'm always throwing out these.
Okay.
We need to burn it all down solutions.
Well, and here's why I'm on the burn it down train, because I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but so we're always bailing out big banks, the auto industry, the flight industry during COVID. We bailed them out, right?
Mm-hmm. So they can provide the worst flights I've ever seen. Oh my God. I flew post-COVID.
I did too. It's awful.
So much worse.
I don't know how. So looping back here, you with me to the point where in true capitalism, things fail if they're not profitable. And we have propped up industries. Follow me so far?
Yeah.
Here's where I'm going to take a left turn into, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but, and it's always the but you got to worry about, everyone, okay?
Yeah.
Let me tell you. Anyway, not a conspiracy theorist, but we bail out all these industries that are failing. What's a practice that we do here in our legislative decision-making bodies that's just allowed? I'll give you a hint. It's like institutionalized bribery.
Oh, yeah, lobbies. Yeah.
So why do you think we bail out these billion-dollar failing industries?
Because they've already bought and paid for votes, essentially.
Yeah.
That makes sense, yeah.
Sometimes it scares me a little bit because it makes a little bit too much sense.
Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe this will be the last episode. I hope not. But if I disappear...
Yeah, we'll know why.
Just keep an eye on me, okay?
It'll give me great content for our inaugural third pilot episode.
Oh, that's the coronation episode.
As soon as I finish editing it.
That's the coronation episode. You guys got to stick around for that one.
Oh yeah. Is it June? Is it the corgi who's getting coronated?
Well, yeah,
as our legal department.
Yeah, June is getting crowned queen of our legal team.
Oh my God! Can we please, if we're going to be corrupt, can we please hit the level of corrupt where we are like crowning? Justice.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're
let's have some style.
But so we've kind of come full circle on that one, but I do think that, that does bear thinking about is just the way capitalism works in the US of A right now, right? Because it's not capitalism if we don't let some of these businesses fail. And there's a lot of good reasons that we don't. Right? Because they provide jobs and people need to eat and all of those things. But that might be a discussion for a little bit later. But kind of.
I need to do some research into what the Fed actually is, and then I can get back to that. Because I still haven't gotten a straight answer, to be fair.
I mean, maybe that's the kicker, right? It doesn't actually. It's not what you think it is, and it never will be, so long as they don't define it.
Maybe it's like any. I strongly suspect, having been like a corporate slave for a little bit in various roles, I've started to notice a trend that I'm suspecting isn't true in the government as well, which is just that all like office jobs, everybody is only concerned about how they appear to their direct report. And that goes as high up as it can. Like that is everybody going up. And what you kind of start to notice is it starts being directly counter to like what would help the business even. Like the last job I had, we were deliberately like fudging numbers to make our department look good. Like blatantly.
Oh boy, that's a bold statement there, my guy.
Yeah. Well, you know, fuck them.
Fuck them. But you know what? You're just to respond to that. You're not wrong though. I've noticed, just in my line of work that I need to work with literally every department in a building that I'm in. Mm-hmm. Right? I'm a one-off guy, and I need everybody to come together to accomplish the things that we need to accomplish, right? I basically can't do my job without teamwork. Mm-hmm. But I've noticed there is a lot of what you just said at every place I've ever been, where it's everybody's only concerned about their direct boss, their immediate sphere of influence, essentially, and nothing else.
And the problem, particularly, I think, with politics is not only like, okay, so they're politicians, they're elected. So their direct report is a little different, but it's kind of not at the same time, because we have created an incredibly restrictive, like two incredibly restrictive, like lanes of thought. And like any step outside of that is regarded as like something the other side will pounce on. So
you're just talking about the two parties, and there's not a whole lot of deviation.
So your direct report is kind of your own party. Like whatever the biggest assholes on your side think seems to be the party lines right now. Am I hurting you?
You're not wrong, but like I am a firm believer in like the way it should work is the direct report of any politician out there, from local to federal, is who you're representing. We are a representative democracy. Your direct reports is the people that elected you.
Well, that's supposed to be the idea. At least certainly in House of Representatives, we make it super easy. You don't even have your whole state. You have a district. Yep. You are supposed to be spending your time getting a feel for what they want.
We could have a whole couple episodes about districting.
But the idea is sound. Having a smaller district.
100%.
You are more in tune kind of with what your district wants.
You would hope.
Yeah.
You would hope. But I don't know. I think you are right. That problem is kind of, I almost want to say, baked into just about every organization we have today. Let's, we're getting a little off topic here, but take it to, the medical side of things. There's a specialist for everything, right? There's a specialist for my hands. There's a specialist for my butthole. There's a specialist for my balls. There's a specialist for my back. And it's a totally different approach in all, like, across the board of those things that we just talked about. Political, just business in general, medical side of things. that baked in piece to the culture of compartmentalization, right?
Okay.
That hurts the end goal, the end product,
Yeah,
because
so-
everything is connected. So
you're talking everybody like operating in their own little pockets.
yeah,
And they're only concerned about how that
yeah,
pocket looks. Like there's no
exactly.
there's no viewing the bigger picture.
Exactly. And again, to kind of relate it back to this medical side of things is, my back hurts all the time, right? Great. We don't need to get into the nitty gritty of it, but okay, I know technically why my back hurts, but how is that connected to everything else? What else is going on with the rest of my, form, amalgamation, whatever you want to call this fucking meat suit? Thanks, HK74. It is 74, right? Not 47?
47 is, yeah, it's 47.
Yeah,
in
47.
KOTOR. 57, I think, is KOTOR 2. I think. Or 55.
Meat bag robot.
Yeah.
Picking up what I'm putting down?
Yeah.
All right. But whatever this, and I'm gesturing to all of me, whatever is going on with this meat bag, what else is contributing to that, right? That, and the end being,
You're talking about what a primary care provider is supposed to do.
Yes. And then I'm trying to
I have noticed they do not do this.
No, they don't. And then I guess I'm trying to extrapolate that idea to just the culture as a whole, because just think for a minute, if everybody actually gave the tiniest bit of a shit about their neighbor, right? And I don't mean like I'm going to bake you a pan of cookies, essentially. I mean like if everybody just for one day legitimately wanted to help their neighbor, it just, everything would be so much better, more cohesive, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe I'm naive on that front, but
Probably.
it's probably fine.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a chance it's going to be fine, though.
But all right. Sorry, listeners. I know we've gotten a little bit off topic from housing and things like that, but I guess ultimately my take on it really comes down to we're kind of doing capitalism wrong.
Oh, yeah.
And that's led to where we are.
We're doing capitalism wrong while touting its virtues.
Yeah.
As if everything's going to be okay because we're following the rules that we're not following.
Correct. And just to kind of, cap off this topic about housing is, let's just agree that, we need to evolve as a global society and just agree that housing is a human right. I didn't ask to be here, right? Back in the 90s, a couple of people decided that they wanted a kid, and now I'm here. I didn't consent to that. Did you consent to being here?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but I exist through all of time and space.
Oh, okay. All right. But ultimately, aside from Dalton, I don't know anybody else who consented to be here, and it's just kind of a, the least we can do as a global society is make sure everybody has a plate, a roof over your head.
I think that's fair to say. I think the only thing I'd do like minor pushback on is if we absolutely have to like monetize it in some way, in just for the cost.
And
but the thing is, like, similar to other things that everybody needs, that cost needs to be on the side of as accessible as it can be to get everyone housed, as opposed to how much we can possibly get out of the consumer.
And that's
which is currently the way they're looking at it.
And that's really the thing that I want to, or one contention I have, right, is in addition to nobody focusing on seeing the big picture, nobody sees the long, the long game, essentially, right? Like, why is all of a sudden making just a healthy profit that we can sustain why is that out the window?
Oh, we're taking the money and running. That's where we're at.
I know that, but you got to help me out. I'm, a small town boy kind of a thing. Like, I liked my neighbors, like something community togetherness, right?
Yeah.
So,
remember when Halloween was fun?
Dude, I remember when you could. Yeah, I remember when Halloween was fun. You didn't lock your doors at night. Oh God, I'm old. Is this what getting old is, Dalton?
It is 100%.
Okay. Shit. But the point is, I think at the end of the day, is that housing is a human right, in my opinion, and we should absolutely kick financial in just legal entities. We should forbid them from owning single family homes.
Yeah, because what are they doing with it?
Trying to make money.
Ooh.
Yeah, you know what? I'd be more okay with it if they were shooting porn.
At least that's honorable.
Hey, hashtag sex work is work, bro.
Yeah.
Represent.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Anyway, I think I can wrap up with that. I've ranted and raved enough about housing being a human right, but will this pass? I don't think so. I don't think the hedge fund and hedge fund control of American Homes Act is going to pass. Just lobbying, and we've had the most unproductive Congress that we've ever had this year. If I don't do my job, I'm fired.
Yeah,
kind of a thing. You guys aren't doing your job. Move on your merry way and let somebody who wants to do it and wants to be there do it.
Do we freeze their pay when that happens?
Probably not.
We should.
There are a lot of things we should do with that, and honestly, if the government shuts down, like, we should say, hey, if the government shuts down more than once or for like this period of time, everybody's out. All of you.
Yeah, I think I saw it in relation to like being unable to agree on a budget, but I think
it always is. Yeah.
For any shutdown, it'd be fair to say like, what I heard pitched was anytime they're unable to agree on a budget, every sitting member of Congress is ineligible for re-election.
Yep. I 100%. I definitely agree with that. The other thing that I don't get is,
what we really need is some fear of God.
Well, okay, so let's get is it the Master Sergeant at Arms that gets the mace, the Congressional mace?
I haven't heard of this.
Oh yeah, no, we're bonus episode, pilot episode 2.5, the Congressional mace.
Oh no. Is this like the Congressional wizard that was there?
Yes, except much less Palpatine and much more beating representatives about the head. So,
I think I remember hearing about this.
So
was this back when they were like getting into fistfights and there actually is a guy?
So yes, it's the mace. It's the mace of the United States House of Representatives, also called the Mace of the Republic. I feel like Palpatine should be in here somewhere. Like,
I want that title in a video game.
Right?
Mace of the Republic.
Mace of the
Are
Republic.
You kidding me?
It's just Mace.
That's
Windu.
what my next cleric is called.
It's just Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Just I'm the Mace of the Republic. So let's see here. So yeah, it's it's the office. It's established by the Office of Sergeant at Arms. So the Sergeant of Arms of that's serving the House has the ability to bonk, I think. Let's look at the procedure.
Wait, did you say Sergeant of Arms? What was
yeah, so
is there like a quartermaster there who's like handing out the congressional handguns? Because that's what that sounds like.
So here's the procedure, right? Per Wikipedia. So the procedure is for daily sessions of the House, the Sergeant at Arms carries a silver and ebony mace of the House in front of the Speaker in procession to the rostrum. When the House is in session, the mace stands on a cylindrical pedestal of green marble to the Speaker's right. When the House is in committee, it's moved to a lowered position on a pedestal next to the Sergeant-at-Arms desk, more or less out of sight. And that's how the members entering the chamber know whether the House is in session or in committee. So they actually use the mace to indicate whether they're in session or not, which I think is beautiful.
It's a little grim.
On rare occasions that a member becomes unruly, the Sergeant at Arms, upon order of the Speaker, lifts the mace from the pedestal and presents it before the offenders, therefore restoring order.
By presents it before the offenders, does it mean hit them?
I hope so, because do you
He
remember
shows
that
them his ring hand?
the joke isn't that there's any rings on the hand, it's just the hand you get to kiss when you get in the boxing ring.
Yeah, there you go.
Who was the one dude with the that threatened to fight the Teamster or whatever? You know, it was a subcommittee meeting, and a U.S. senator was going to get up and fight this guy, and then Bernie Sanders was like, "Sit down, you're a U.S. senator."
Yeah. Oh my God.
Anyway,
embarrassing.
Fucking embarrassing. Add a in post here. Add a trash can kicking noise. Hopefully, everybody gets the reference. If that joke doesn't land, I'm going to continue to do it because I'm funny. I'm not, but that's okay.
I'm going to add the crickets in post, guys. Don't worry about it.
Hey, there you go. So the mace has been used at least 6 times to quell disorder. The first known usage of the original mace occurred at Congress Hall in Philadelphia on January 30th, 1798, during a fight between Matthew Lyon of Vermont and Roger Griswold of Connecticut, after which Lyons faced an unsuccessful expulsion vote.
I mean, you got to give it to Connecticut, right? Connecticut, like, without the mace, Connecticut's got to win that fight.
But yeah,
I'm not saying it's like a sweep, but like...
So it really sounds like it's more of a ceremonial piece, but can be used to like bludgeon people if the need arises.
So wait, okay. Has it been used in a hit? Like, have they hit somebody with it?
That's they're very tame in the description of the usage, but hang on,
give me some congressional.
The mace was
actually
the mace was
we
used,
might need to redact that. I'm not sure if that's a crime.
Don't mind us over here, folks.
Should we change the name to like probably slander?
Oof. But hey, guess what? It's still probably fine. It'll probably be fine. We have our legal team on it, okay? It's probably fine. So really, it doesn't... Yeah, I'm not seeing any instance of it really being used terribly violently. Let's see here. House records indicate the mace was last used to restore order during World War I when Representative J. Thomas Heflin of Alabama suggested that some of his colleagues had been unpatriotic in voting against a resolution to end the war. Yeah, so the whole act of presenting the mace is sounds like as violent as it gets. But
oh my God, I just looked this thing up.
You just what?
I just looked it up.
Yeah, it looks ridiculous, right? Look at this thing. It's
I can see why they haven't hit anybody with it.
It would kill someone. I mean, as you would with any mace if you hit people with it, right? Like maces are weapons. They're designed to stop peopling, but this thing is like
also,
a 6 foot tall.
It's a little bit of pimp cane.
I think it's much bigger than a cane, but yeah, kinda.
Well, it has that vibe.
It definitely does have USA pimp cane vibes, doesn't it? Also, it does with the way the wings on the eagle spread. It looks much more like an axe, and I just I
That's what I'm
envision
thinking.
someone being bashed in the head with the wing and just, it hitting their brain and then just keeling over. Anyway.
Okay, I need to minimize this picture of the Congressional Tim Kaine. 'Cause it's distracting.
And you know what? If I was the sergeant at arms for the house, I would. I know there's protocol that you have to observe and stuff, but the way you would just swagger into that room with that mace,
you need it to descend from the ceiling, and you need like a smoke machine going off.
Doves.
That thing deserves doves.
Doves,
Come on. You need some pomp and circumstance for this thing.
Now you've done it. Oh my goodness. Now I will have pomp and circumstance running through my head for the next 3 to 5 business weeks. Thank you very much.
That's what I'm here for.
Anyway, I think I've rambled and ranted long enough. So shall we call this a second pilot episode, my friend?
Our inaugural second.
You know what? It's come full circle because we've talked about the Congressional Mace.
Yeah.
So it's obviously inaugural. That word, I'm not using that word correctly at all, and that's okay. We're not here for that.
No, we're here for baseless slander accusations.
Don't worry. Our legal team is on it.
Probably fine. Though.
It's probably fine. Thanks, everybody. And, I don't know, love your neighbor or something. I don't fucking know.